of requirement elicitation. So far we discussed about what is the problem we are going to face in the requirement collection if it is not being done properly. So we have to do the requirement collection very properly, and then we have to decide who will be the actor, what are the use cases. Everything will come under your requirement elicitation phase itself. So now what is the overview of the requirement elicitation? So here the requirement and the analysis is both are same. A requirement is nothing but the describing the purpose of the system. That is how the client needs the system to be. What and all should be there inside the system. All such things is given in the form of requirement specification. So here the requirement specification and the analysis model both will be same. The difference is the requirement specifications will be having the functional and non-functional components, but the analysis will be having in the form of design, like object model, sequence model, activity diagram, like that, interaction diagram, like that. It will be in the form of a model that is called as analysis model. And how you will be getting the analysis model? You will be getting the analysis model only from the requirement specification, what and all you are collected from the user. So requirement specification and the analysis model, it is say of representation is different. Your requirement will be represented in the form of natural languages. It can be expressed in the form of formal or anything, but in your be represented in the form of notation, like UML diagram, class diagram, sequence diagram. You will get this diagrams, obviously you will be get from your requirements only. So your analysis and the requirements both are same only, but only the difference, the representation, the notation of representation is different. So here in this diagram, they have clearly says that from the client, you're collecting the requirement specification, that is termed as your requirement elicitation. So this requirement elicitation is nothing but your defining what is the functional requirement and what is the non-functional requirements. So from this functional non-functional requirements, you will be having the analysis whether this particular thing is required, whether this is need to be included in your project, whether this requirement will be considered. Like that, it will be having an analysis, and that analysis in the form of a diagram. So dynamic diagram, sequence diagram, activity diagram, interaction diagram, class diagram, all these things will be in the form of analysis. So your analysis will be the same. So what exactly we are going to study inside this requirement elicitation? We have certain activities. So what is the activities? As I told you, client has given you, this is my requirement. I want an ATM machine. That ATM machine have to withdraw the amount by checking my balance in the bank and verifying my card and my PIN number. If it is matches, then according to that balance, it have to withdraw. So this is the requirement is given through the client. Then immediately after collecting the requirement, the expert teams, what they have to do it, they have to analyze, or they have to first form the requirement specifications. So what is the first requirement? What is the next requirement? Like sequence of requirements have to be registered. So for that, they will be finding who is the actor. Who is the actor? Who is the actor in the sense? Who is going to use the system? Who is going to support the system? Who is going to make the activity of that particular requirement? After actors, you can have a scenario. So what is the scenario? You can have a use cases also. You can have use cases, and in turn it can go to the scenario, or from scenario it can go to use cases. So what might be the scenario in the sense, if I wanted to withdraw certain amount, I wanted to withdraw 10,000 rupees. So immediately I will insert the card PIN number, then I will be giving the amount, how much I wanted to withdraw. So first what it will go and check, it will check my balance in my bank account, whether it is more than 10,000. If it is more than 10,000, my money will be withdrawn. Otherwise, it will check your balance, insufficient balance message will be written, and we have to enter what we have entered. These are the different scenarios. So there may be alternative options. Money will get withdrawn. If my balance is less, then I have to go for the alternative options. So all these things comes as your scenario. What is the overall use case? I wanted to have withdrawal of money. Withdrawal of money is my use case. For that use case, I have different scenarios. You understood? Next, identifying the use cases. As we discussed so much, once developer users agree on a set of scenarios, they can make. So if withdrawal and balance checking both have to be in different scenarios. So clubbing of all the scenarios can be act as one use case. So next, verifying your PIN, or you can change the password. Like that, next is your use case. I think the first module had your use cases for ATM. If you have doubt, you can cross check so that you can understand. So withdrawal is one use case. Then changing the password is another one use case. Checking the balance will be we have different use case. For individual use cases, we will having a different set of. So they will be clubbing certain scenarios to form into a use cases. Right. So next, refining the use case. So what is the refining the use cases according to that? So once you are defined with the use cases and scenarios, so during the activity, you wanted to have certain more requirements also to be completed within the same use cases. Then that can also be included in the form of refining use cases, because you are still in the first phase only. You have not yet entered into the second phase. So what are the changes you want, you can have. Whether you need to have a refining use cases, no need. If you don't want to change whatever you have decided previous stage, then you don't want to have a refining use cases. But if you think like this use case is also into the same, I mean, this scenario also into the same use cases, then you can have a refining of an use cases. Next, identifying relationship among the use cases. So this we have seen. So if I have two different use cases, what is the relationship among the use cases? Money to balance checking, what might be the what is the connection among them? They have to have the database connectivity. So once the database is connected, they can go and verify the database and they will respond it back whether it is fine or not. So means finding out the common functionality between use cases. So if you are finding out the common functionality between the use cases, that will be having a relationship among the use cases. Even if you want to withdraw the amount also, your balance have to be checked. If you have a separate balance use cases, balance checking use cases, that also have to check whether you have your balance amount is less than or greater than whatever is according to your request. So both is required a database communication. So I can say that the relationship between these two use cases is a database. It have to have, both have to check. Even if you wanted to have check the balance, or if you want to withdraw also, and your ATM card number have to be verified. So that is the relationship between two different use cases. Like that, I can have a relationship among the use cases. Like in your database, you remember the foreign key, primary key, foreign key relationships and all. So that is exactly here in the form of diagram we are representing. Next, identifying the non-functional requirements. Obviously, we will be knowing what are the functional requirements. Now, what comes to into the normal, non-functional requirements in the sense, like how the documentation should be. For documentation, what type of people is required? User is going to consume? What is the quality of that? Other than the development of the project, the things you're going to concentrate in the project, that comes as your non-functional requirement. So that also have to be identified, because before itself you have to divide the team, documentation team, you have to divide it, so that parallelly whenever you are implementing a project, parallelly the documentation team will be started documenting it. At the end, documentation is not possible, because together we will not remember. We were implementing a project for 1 year, 2 years, so we cannot remember. After 2 years we cannot remember what I did in the day one, what I did in the day two. So now after every week I will be coming to a review and check whether what and all is positively I did it. I started my coding through using this particular language, but after certain point I found out these features are not met through this particular programming language. I can make use of some other programming language to fulfill this requirement. Like that, everything have to be documented, so that finally you can documentation to state that why it took your project took so many days to complete, why there was a lagging in completion of particular features. So everything you have to report it through the initially itself. You have to find a separate team for documentation also, how much time, what and all they have to document, everything have to be given information to them. You understood this? So these are the activities we are going to discuss in detail also when you're going to the further concepts. So first, once your requirement is collected, you have to find out the actors. Then you have to find out what are the things you're going to do. Then what are the things are going to group to form a use case. And if you want to have relationship among the use cases, identify that. And then you have to identify the non-functional requirements. Next, there will be many different sources, means like the requirement not only from the client side you wanted to collect it, be given from the technical person side also, it may be a developer side also. There may be different types of different sources will be available for your requirement elicitation. So among that we have two things, two dependencies among the requirements is like design, and another one is traceability. So they are, what is that JAD? You can see JAD diagram, JAD design itself in online somewhere. If you search, you will get that name, joint application design. This is like, it will be including among developers, clients jointly develop the requirement. It will not only depend on to the client side. Once the client is also involved, the client, the manager, the developer, the documentation team people, everybody will be involved in a discussion. And then after the discussion, finally, they will be setting the final requirement. Called as JAD, Joint Application Design. Next is nothing but traceability. Traceability is nothing but it is only focuses on the recording, structuring the requirement, linking the requirement, how to group the requirement dependencies, all this between the work products, all this connectivity. Once my requirement is done, okay, from this, how can I connect to this particular line? From this, how can I connect to this particular? The connectivity is done through the traceability artifacts. So this traceability artifacts will be literally finding out the connection or structuring or linking equipments between the requirements and the work product. So these are the two different ways how you can have a requirement. This is also be used. You can use JAD in your future. Instead of having only client information, you can have JAD information, so that the clarity, because client blindly, he will be asking you, I need a product for doing so and so. But he doesn't know whether that is literally achievable, whether it is possible to be, doesn't know anything like that. So you can involve the developers or any expert inside that discussion. Then they may explain that to the client that this requirement cannot be met through this project. You need to have another way of project where your requirement have to be divided into two different projects only. Like that, they will have a discussions. So that's exactly called as your JAD application design, where involving different types of experts into a requirement specification. So next, what we are going to discuss is about your requirement elicitation concept. So what is the concept, requirement elicitation concept? This we already discussed. Now we will have the same. So first one is finding out the functional requirement. Next one, non-functional requirement. Then what is completeness, consistency, clarity, correctness, then realism, verifiability, traceability. Next, greenfield engineering. Next, re-engineering and interface engineering. Yes. So what is mean by first functional requirements? As we know, what is the functional requirements? So here we have to, there is an example they are showed. So first I will explain what type of example they are trying to use it over here. They are going to use a watch. You remember that we started discussing about a watch, digital watch, where it will be having two buttons. If I press twice, it will go for blinking the hours. Then again, if I press the button, it will go for blinking the minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, but this watch is not the same watch. Here, there is no buttoning and all. This watch is according to the GPS, that is satellite. watch. It is a satellite watch. According to the current location, it automatically change the time. Means like if you're going from India to any other country, according to the country, according to the local timing, that is global positioning system, it will automatically change the time. Here manually you cannot set the time at all. There is no button for a user to do that. It will automatically connect to the GPS, and automatically it will try to update its time according to your global positioning system. So you cannot change anything. So it is having two lines of display. Here it would have showed you. It is having two lines of display where you will be displaying a time in the first line. Second, date, month, year will be displayed over there. Voice not audible. Is it clear now? Like a GPS watch, satellite watch. So according to the time zone, according to the boundaries, it will automatically change the time. So here there is no involvement of any user. There is no user involvement at all. So now above this, you would find out what is the functional in requirements is required for this particular watch. So what is the functional requirement is over to that. That only we are going to discuss it. So what and all is required? I need to have a GPS. I need to have a. I need to every time the particular thing when the timeline is moved to any other particular zone, it will automatically try to correct itself. And certain location is not possible to identify. That time it will be called as blackout period. The blackout period should not last for a longer time. According to the previous session, it have to adjust itself. So these are the functional requirements, the interaction, the system interaction to its environment. That is called as your functional requirements. What and all is exactly have to do. Now, what might be the non-functional requirements? So non-functional requirements means it is not directly related to the functional behavior of a system. It is used inside the system. Be depend for the performance of a system, but not exactly to the system. So as car, you might have remembered that for a car, what are the functional? I need to have a wheel, I need to have a steering, I need to have a brake. But size, the seat length, the height of the car, the color of the car is not exactly required as a functional requirement, but that is also used as a requirement feature in the car, because without that you cannot have a designing properly. So like that, certain things may not be used for the functional behavior of a system, but that is also used inside the system for its performance. So what are the categories of non-functional requirements? The first one is usability. So what is the usability? Like if I'm having a watch, how easy for me to operate the watch? What type of input it is going to, the client is going to use that. So what are the issues they are going to get? What color the light should be? How visibility should be? So all these things will come as your use. How attractive it to the user? What type of font they are going to use? All such things comes as your usability requirement. The next one is reliability. So when we're talking about reliability, is a system to perform certain functions under some specified condition or a specified period of time. That is the reliability. Reliability means certain failure time also I should get the correct output. That is, how can I rely the system is correct or not? So how can I say that the system is reliable when certain error also my system will be showing me the correct output only. So that, like that, my system have to have the reliability status. So reliability status is can be replaced with the word which is called as dependability. Dependability means justifiable. Can say that the system will have so much percentage of dependability, 90 correct, accurate. Like that, I can say my reliability of a system. So this dependability includes reliability, and it's also called as your robustness. You can call robustness in the sense how the equipment will function correctly even in the input is given wrong, or if any unconditional environment is occurred, even that time also how my system will be acting correctly. And safety. What is the safety measures is taken? As I told you, when you're moving from one zone to another zone, certain time the GPS may not exactly find out in which particular zone you are and how the time have to be managed. So that time it is called as black. So your blackout time cannot stand for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. You can your watch without showing the time for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. That means the watch is not having any reliability, or it doesn't have any robustness, or it is not having any safety precaution. So like that, once the blackout time is done, within a fraction of second, either it have to switch to the previous or it have to find out the future time zone. Like that, something have to be find out and it have to rectify its failure, and it have to show the correct output. That is comes as your reliability. These are directly not depending on the functions behavior, but without this you cannot say that your function or the project is efficiently usable. It is not possible to say without non-functional requirements. So the next one is performance. As you know that how fast you are giving the response. As I told you, from blackout time, how fast it is going to give you the output. And throughput means within a specified time, the how much the system is worked, I mean accomplished, how many times the system is refreshed, or how many times the accurate amount is shown within a specified amount of time. So like that, it is called as your throughput. Availability is nothing but it is accessible time. So if I wanted to change the time zone from one zone to another zone, so how much fast it is available for me to change, the degree of change according to the operation or according to the accessibility is called as availability. And how much it accurate, it comes as your accuracy. So your response, throughput, availability and accuracy is comes as your performance. Next one is your supportability. So what is mean by supportability? If I have to change the system after deployment, if I have to change the system, then how much my system is adaptable, how much my system can be adapt to the change, how much my system can be adapt to the new technology. All such things is comes as the supportability. So supportability is nothing but mostly it is called as your maintainability, and nothing but you can change from one thing to the another. Java is a portable language because you can code in any system and run in any other systems. Like that, once your product is delivered, how much it is adaptable to the new concept, how much it is adaptable to the new feature techniques. So that time you will be having a supportability measures. So this measures or these requirements also need to be considered when you're trying to collect the non-functional requirements. Right. So next we have certain model that is FURPS model that provides the additional category for the requirements, not only non-functional and functional requirements. Under non-functional requirements also there may be a guidelines. Whether you wanted to use it, if you are following your requirement specification the FURPS model, then you can include these requirements also inside your requirement phase. First one is the implementation requirements. What are the constraints are there in the implementation? Means what are the tools you're going to use? What are the programming language you're going to use? What are the hardware platforms you're going to use? So that also you can consider in the form of a non-functional requirements. You would have done your project. When you're writing a report, you remember functional and non-functional you will be writing out. In the chapter 3 or chapter 4 you will be writing non-functional requirements, functional requirements. So non-functional requirements you will be writing what is a programming language you are using, what is the hardware techniques you are using, all such things. I think so you remember that. So like that, these are the non-functional requirements can be considered. So next is the interface requirements. So how your external system will be used or imposed within your internal system. What is the interchangeable format? Because when you're trying to connect one system with the another system, so then how the interconnections will work? What is the interface they are going to use it? Then operational requirements. Then what are the constraints of the operation settings? What are the constraints you have to use it? How it should be used? Whether it will work only for 7 characters. If you have to set the password only for minimum 7 characters, starting should not be a starting should not have any symbols kind of a thing. So that and all will come as your operational requirements. Next, packaging. So actually delivery of a system, whether you're going to install the system or you're going to setting up it as a complete system. Installing means you will be having a software kind of a thing. If it is a system like an ATM, you're going to install that in a particular place and location, you have to work according to that. So when you're installing a system in a particular location, then the particular location have to have the GPS locator connection, because in turn it is going to connect to the bank software, which will be internally calculating the amount deposited, amount withdraw, everything. So that is comes as your packaging requirements. Next, legal requirements. Legal requirement means you have to discuss about the licensing of the particular project, regulations, certifications, and so how long it should be work, how long this is applicable to the public usage. So after this particular duration, you have to either change the product or you have to upgrade the product, like that. Legal requirements, these are not compulsory to be included in the non-functional requirements, but these also can be included in the non-functional requirements if you are following purpose model, right? So even though the requirements of we have discussed about purpose model, here same thing can be having a quality requirement checking also, and they can have the constraint requirement checking also. But it is again, it's not compulsory, it is only depend on the requirement team whether to consider these also as the non-functional requirements. So what is the quality? Here they have given certain information about your quality requirements. Any user who knows to read the digital watch and understand the international time zone, observation should be able to use satellite watch without the user manual. So this is the quality. It means that even a person who knows to read the digital watch, he should not search for the user manual. So what is the first two lines is displaying? What is the second two lines is displaying? Like that, he don't. Then it is called as usability requirement. What is reliability requirements? As I already told you, there is no button is available over there. So there is no software fault of the watch, because there is no need to reset, because user cannot reset the watch because there is no button. So that is your reliability. The software fault should not occur by saying, so there is no resetting is happened from the external actor. Next one, the should display the correct time zone within 5 minutes. As I told you, when it is coming back from the blackout time, it should not be more than 5 minutes to set the correct time zone. That comes as your performance requirement. And again, for all time, it should correctly display for 24 time zones. That is also a performance requirements. Should upgrade whenever you are trying to display an updation for that particular watch. The updation have to be updated automatically by your satellite watch. That is also support requirement. And what are the constraints for that stat watch? So far we have discussed about the constraints. Other than the non-functional model can have certain constraints requirements also. So what is the constraint requirements? All the related software, including onboard software also, you should use implementing Java only. That is a constraint. Next one, you can have a electrical or a physical or software interface. You can have using the software interface of API 2.0 only. Like that, these are the constraints is given through the purpose model. You cannot use any other programming language than Java. You cannot use API 2.0 other than API 2.0 for having a connectivity between the equipments inside the watch. So these are the simple example they have shown. Next one, what is mean by completeness, consistency, clarity, correctness? Can anyone give the answer? Yes, what is mean by complete?
The project should not have any errors or any clarification from the client side. It should be perfect with whatever they are giving with the requirement is called completeness.
We already discussed. Means like the validation should be proper for all the behavior. As I told you, if you're having an ATM, so ATM can have so many options. Once I insert the card, my card may get stuck, or my PIN number may be wrong, or the power goes down. So like that, so many exception cases are there. Even that exceptional cases also, my system have to work properly. So that is my completeness of my system. Next, what is mean by consistent?
Ma'am, the requirement should be understood properly. There is no doubt in that. There should not be any doubt, and there should not be any unambiguity, ma'am.
So if I'm saying whenever the power is there, whenever my power is there, my system should work properly. So otherwise, it should not have another option also to overcome that. When you are trying, this is the meaning of consistency. When you are selecting functional requirement and non-functional requirement should not conflict with each other. So your system have to be consistent. I told you, when you're trying to withdraw certain amount, your bank will be, and your ATM machine, it will be showing your balances. So, but exactly if you go to bank, in your bank, your database should be with the same amount. Then the amount, whatever you have seen in the existing data. So your data or the requirements, here we are discussing about the requirements. So your requirements should, if it's not there, my battery should be loaded and my system should work. So it is contradictory. When I'm saying power is not there, my system should not work. And in other turn, I'm saying when battery is there, my system should work. It is contradictory. Only one I have to fix. If power is not there, power is not there. Is clear, Deepti? Is it clear? Am I audible?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Oh, fine. So next one is unambiguous, means you can, it means that you cannot have two mutually exclusive ways. Means you cannot have two things in different forms. Different specifications is not possible. For example, you can have daylight for a watch. The watch what we are discussing, you can have a daylight saving or not. Whether you want to have a daylight saving, yes, for all the whole day, because you cannot set manually. So everything will be done in the system itself. So if you're having a daylight saving, the whole total, whenever the daylight is there, it automatically should use the daylight saving. If not. So you should have only one thought. You should not have a different ways for that same specifications. That is unambiguous. You should not have a repetition for the same input. That's it. Accurately, your system should display the time. So that is the use of correctness. So correctness and completeness are the difficult to establish, because you cannot every time say that your system is correctly showing your output, and you cannot say a system will act correctly even for all exception cases. Even whenever sometime some exception may go wrong. So meeting your correctness and completeness is one of very difficult part of your requirements. So here they are given a simple example. What is mean by complete? What is mean by consistent and ambiguous? So what is correct? So simple example is given. So if complete means all the features are described by the requirements. Whatever you have described in the requirement, you cannot say that we have given in the requirements, but finally it is not possible to achieve. No, whatever you are trying to say, it will be achieved. It should achieve in all the exception cases. Like an example they have given. Boundary behavior when the user is standing with GPS accuracy limitation of if it is not possible to find out your GPS location, it have to try to set the time within 5 minutes. So like that, you have, even in an exceptional cases, your system should work properly. That is completeness. Consistent, that two requirements with each other. So if any software faults is not there for upgrading, if you're saying what that does not contain any software faults, it should when it is having to upgrade to the newer version also. So if your software fault will not occur in my watch, but when the software updation is happening, my software should not fail. Then it's not consistent. Your product is not consistent. So unambiguous, the same thing. It should not interpreted mutually. That is, the same thing cannot be. So the specification time zones, like does the stopwatch deal with daylight saving time or not? If you're saving says that it should be with daylight saving, then you cannot specify that only for the particular zone it should use daylight saving. For the next particular zone, it should not use daylight saving. You cannot choose like that. Either daylight saving is required or not. That's it. You cannot select whether it is only applicable for this zone or that zone. So that is not possible. Have an unambiguous requirement. Then correct in the sense as the features of the system or environment of the client developer, but do not describe the intended features. Means that within 24 hours, like correct in the sense what exactly meaning, like accurate output. So within there are more than 24 time zones, so several countries are time. So according to that, your system have to accurately calculate the difference of the time, and it have to produce the time onto the watch. So that is correct. So these are the requirements you have to consider when you're considering your completeness, consistency, clarity, and correctness. So correctness and completeness is very difficult to achieve. The next one is realism, verifiability, traceability. So what does mean by realism? Realistic is that if the system can be implemented within constraint, means what are the requirements is there that is implemented within the constraint, then it is called as, if the requirement is verifiable. Once the system is built and the testing, whenever and you are trying to fulfill the requirements of the user, that is verifiable testing. If I am saying if this feature is available in my system, so how could I come to know whether that feature is achievable or not? I have to verify whether this is working or not. That is comes as your verifiability. So here the following requirements gives the example of non-verifiable requirements. So what is the non-verifiable requirements? These things cannot be verified explicitly using test cases, but these are the requirements which is used or involved inside your product. One is the product shall have a good user interface. Good in the sense, what is good? Few things is good for you, few things not be good for the other user. Few may require different user interface, few may require different user interface. For example, for some user may require voice user interface, some may require a typing user interface. So good cannot be defined, it's depend on the use. So you cannot say it is good according to your point. First one, because it is not been verifiable. The product shall be error free. So here the product shall be error free means for your testing, you would have tested 100 inputs. There may be 1,000 or 1 lakh inputs. For 1 lakh inputs also you couldn't have tested. So you cannot say it is completely error free, right? So that is next one. Third one is the product shall respond to the user within 1 second for most cases. Most cases means what are the cases? How much you could have defined? You would have defined some 10 or 15, but there may be 100 cases. So most of the cases is not exactly defined. So these are not verifiable, cannot be verifiable. So you cannot say that my watch will work for 100 years. It means that you cannot just say like that, because you have not kept the watch for 100 years, tested for 100 years, then you have not given the product for usage. So that certain things which cannot be defined, which cannot be verifiable, non-verifiable, but to be considered. Right. The last one is traceable. A traceable, if each requirement can be traced throughout a software development, then each system function can be traced back to corresponding. For example, if you're implemented certain things, so why you implemented this feature, Because of this requirement only, I implemented this feature. So if you are able to trace front and back the requirements and the implementation functionality, then it is called as traceability. You implemented your ATM machine to finally say, do you want to continue the process? Why you are asking, do you want to continue the process? Because you have given a limitation for withdrawing. For one time, you cannot withdraw more than 10,000. So people, those who want to withdraw 20,000, they have to do 2 transactions. So why you are asking, do you want to continue the transaction? Because my internal implementation says withdraw more than 10,000 for a single transaction. So I need to have the another looping option of, do you want to continue? So why you did this implementation? Can you trace it backward? Then it is called as traceable or traceability, right? So the last one is about your greenfield engineering, re-engineering and interface engineering. So what is exactly greenfield engineering means? You're going to develop a product or a project from the scratch. There is no existing of that particular product at all. You are only going to develop a product from the scratch by collecting the requirements, everything. Then it is called as greenfield engineering. What is re-engineering means? The project is redesigning means the project is already in existence. You just wanted to redesign it, make it still more catchable and make it still more easier to use. That is called as your re-engineering. What is interface means? The project is redesigned only for user interfaces. The product, the backend, I'm not going to do anything. Only front end, I'm going to change it. Before, when I'm trying to send a message, I'll have only text messages to be sent. But now I wanted to redefine it to send with some emojis, some music, some videos, I can send it. So that is as interface re-engineering. Your backend, you're not going to do it. Your front end, you're trying to modify, which will be suit for the current users. So that is comes as your interface engineering. So here in gather so much of information. So the information can be in the form of a document, or it can be given in the form of manual, or you can get information from the previous worker or previous people who has implemented that. Like that, you can get the information. But here, interface design, this is only for the front end, what you're going to change it. How catchable you're trying to change your front end. So that is the use of interface engineering. So these are the activities for your requirement elicitation. So these are the requirement elicitation concepts. So functional, non-functional, completeness, consistency, clarity, correctness, realism, verifiability, traceability, green engineering, re-engineering, interface engineering. Functional requirements is what are the exact functionalities needed to be implemented inside the project. All such things are functional requirements. Example, if I need to have a satellite watch, my satellite watch have to correct its time according to the GPS, according to the time zone. 2 lines face, one is to display the time, another one is display the date, time, year, all these things. What are the non-functional requirements? What is the usability of it? What is the reliability of it? What is the performance? What is the supportability? Other than that, how it can have the implementation requirements, how it can have the interface requirements, operation requirements, packaging, like legal requirements. So next, what is mean by completeness? And what is consistency? Completeness means in all exceptional behavior, it should give me the correct output. Consistency, it should not have 2 requirements contradictory to each other. Next, unambiguous, exactly you have to define about one thing. You cannot have 2 things in the same concept. Correctness, it should give me the correct output at all situation. Next, realism, realistic in the sense how you're going to implement the requirement with all. Going to use this constraint to implement your requirements. That is realism, the correct implementation source code. Verifiable, whether you can test all the requirements. Whatever I'm stating, my product will do all these things, where it is verifiable. That is, testing is achieved. That is called verifiable. There are certain things which may not be verifiable also, but need to be included in your requirement. traceability, if you are implemented certain requirements, you should find out why have the dependency, why it have been implemented like this. What is the evaluation for this traceability? Why? That answer should be given for traceability. Then greenfield means if you're starting the product development from the initial phase, then it is greenfield engineering. Re-engineering means already the system existing, but you're trying to collect the information and you're trying to re-engineer the project to a different form. That is your re-engineering. Interface means you're not going to change anything in your project, nothing. Everything, the user interface will be changed. Only the redesign of the front end is going to happen. Projects will be remaining same. So this is about your concepts. Is it clear until this?